If a person has a cup, but it's turned upside down, no matter how much you turn on the faucet, that cup will not be filled. But even if it's dripping just a little bit, but the cup is the right way up, then eventually that cup will be full. In the same way, the person who makes himself available to the maghfirah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these nights, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as it comes in hadith, that the special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descends to the heavens, and calls are made from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هَلْ مِن مُسْتَغْفِرٍ فَأَغْفِرَ لَهُ. Is there anyone who is seeking forgiveness so I may forgive him? Which one of us can say that we don't have this dua to ask? Everyone has one, whatever they have that they have done, that they need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His maghfirah. هَلْ مِن مُبْتَلًا فَأُعَافِيَهُ. Is there anyone in any difficulty, ibtila, any tests, any trials, tribulations, difficulties a person is going through? فَأُعَافِيَهُ. I can pardon him, I can give him afu, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give afiyah and goodness to that person. هَلْ مِن مُسْتَرْزِقٍ فَأَرْزُقَهُ. Is there anyone who is seeking sustenance and rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I may grant that rizq to him, that sustenance to him? These calls are made as they're made in other days as well. They're made in other days as well, other nights as well. But these are more special times, where throughout the night Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's special mercy descends to the heavens. The very least a person can do it, often people ask in these nights, what is there to do? The shariat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is very clear, that on no such night is there any different amal. Nothing different. The deen doesn't change overnight. For one night there's nothing new ibadah that is to be done. There's no new type of salah which is to be prayed. There's no new practice that needs to be done. It's the same deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the same sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the same Qur'an Kareem, the same tasbihat, the same dhikr which need to be done. What a person needs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to us already through Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What a person should do, in one hadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that the night brings three types of people. That every night, people get divided into three groups. One group is such that the night is a means of their blessings, a means of blessings for them. Why? Because these people use the night in the a'mal, in tahajjud, qiyamul layl, in tilawah of Qur'an Kareem, doing good things, staying away from haram, staying away from wrong things. A second group of people are those who neither gain nor do they lose from the night. What do? They go home, they go to sleep. No any such ibadah, nothing more, no qiyamul layl. But at the same time, they're also not engaged in anything wrong. So neither is a means of loss for them, nor is it a means of gain. Neutral. And the third group of people are those who the night is a means of great harm for these people. That rather than just quietly going to sleep, rather than engaging themselves in ibadah, they perhaps gather and people start talking, and then that talking becomes backbiting, and then someone lies, and then someone starts saying things which are wrong. So one wrong leads to another wrong, to another wrong. Before the person knows it, this night becomes a means of a great problem and difficulty for such a person. And this is a means of this person gaining many sins. It is very important that on such nights, that if a person is not engaged in any tilawah, in any qiraat of the Qur'an, dhikr, tahajjud, qiyamul layl, then the next best thing for that person is to go to sleep. Not merely to stay around, stick around, stay up. Merely staying awake is not going to bring any benefit. If a person uses that time to do ibadah, then it's of benefit. Otherwise, that will become a means of a person's a burden upon the person. In fact, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, now alhamdulillah, as we prayed Salatul Isha with Jama'ah, the person who prays Salatul Isha with Jama'ah, he receives half the night's reward. Reward of, as if he is engaged in ibadah for half the night. How do we complete the second half? By Salatul Fajr the next morning in Jama'ah. So if a person only does this much, that alhamdulillah today he came, prayed Salatul Isha with Jama'ah, he goes to sleep, and then next morning he wakes up on time, he makes it to the Masjid for Salatul Jama'ah in Fajr, then the person's as if he has done ibadah the entire night. I'm not saying don't do ibadah over and above that, but if a person is not going to do that, then it is best that he at least tries these two, that he does these two things. Salatul Jama'ah, one, alhamdulillah, we've already done. The second is Salatul Fajr that a person makes it. But if a person engages, but he misses Salatul Fajr, that's even worse. That is even worse. There is something called Fiqhul Awlawiyah, the fiqh of what is the most important thing to do. Once Umar radiallahu anhu, he used to look, when in the time of his Khilafah, Amirul Mu'mineen Umar radiallahu anhu, that such and such Sahabi was missing from Salatul Fajr. So after Salatul Fajr, he goes to his home to find out, is everything okay? What's the reason? Why is he missing? So his mother opens the door and she says that, no, he engaged in Qiyamul Layl throughout the night, Tahajjud, etc. Then he became very tired, so he fell asleep. So Umar radiallahu anhu, he told the lady and he told the Sahabi that it's better for you that if you cannot make it for Fajr on time, then you sleep throughout the night. Why? Because Salatul Jama'ah is more important. So performing Salatul Fajr on its time with Jama'ah, that is even more important. So a person for certain nawafil, certain supererogatory actions, cannot miss those things which are more important. During these nights, a person should engage in tilawah of the Quran Kareem, tasbihat, as we said, dua. As we all know, throughout the ummah, there are problems, there are difficulties. These are the nights that we make dua for ourselves, our own maghfirah, for the ummah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings afiyah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes our condition. All of this is beneficial when we ascribe to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to do. That starts with the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which is, what is the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's a very simple thing. امتثال أوامر الله واجتناب نواهيه. Fulfilling the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and staying away from the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a person does this much, this is more than enough taqwa for a person. Doing and fulfilling the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, staying away from the haram and prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives everyone throughout the ummah, that we all come upon the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we said, these are not nights to be engaging, socializing, doing other things. Rather, these are times which we avail ourselves, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we engage in the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very simple. This is one suggestion, that before we go home, if we know that after going home we won't be able to engage, then before going home do some ibadah here, then you can proceed home as well. You can also go home directly. If a person feels that when he goes home, then he can engage in ibadah, he will be doing tilawah, he will be doing qiyamul layl, tahajjud. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you know that when you go home, then someone will say that please do a little bit this and do a little bit of that, and then desserts will be served, and this will happen and that will happen, and there goes your night, and then you get too tired. Eating extra is also one ploy of shaitan. Eating extra is also one ploy of shaitan. The more a person eats, the more lazy he becomes. Over and above what is the normal amount, if a person starts eating that much, then shaitan finds his way into that, because that becomes israf then, and that takes away from the khushu' in salah, that takes away from the concentration in salah. That you should try it yourself, that on one day, that when you have eaten a normal amount, just enough for you that you're no longer hungry, then you engage in tahajjud, then you engage in salah. In fact, we should make this intention from now, that inshallah this year, for Taraweeh even, that we won't overstuff ourselves in iftar and dinner. Why does Taraweeh become very difficult for some people? Because after entire days of fast, in that short period of time, we try to eat as much as we can as possible. Eat all the till full. So then a person during Taraweeh is yawning, he's feeling tired. But if you don't eat that much, then it won't be that difficult. You don't see the Hufaz falling asleep, right? Because they eat little. They have to. They're forced into it. But either way, it works. One way or the other. So we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us understanding of the Quran and Sunnah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our du'as. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring khair and afiyah. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim maliki yawmiddin. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. اللهم اجعلنا من الراشدين. اللهم اجعلنا من المهديين. اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. O Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, O most merciful Allah. Ya Allah, these are the blessed nights of Sha'ban. Ya Allah, we make dua to you, Ya Allah, that you allow us to make the most of these nights. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, the month of Ramadan is close, Ya Allah. Allah, allow us to reach the month of Ramadan with afiyah and goodness, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, Ya Ilah al-Alameen, throughout the Ummah, Ya Allah, difficulties are found in every part of the corner, Ya Allah, of the world. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, Ya Ilah al-Alameen, bring afiyah and khair and goodness, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, will have the comfort of our homes in this Ramadan, those of us that are destined to be alive till that time. There are others, Ya Allah, in Gaza, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, in other parts of the world who have no roofs above their heads, Ya Allah, this Ramadan. They will be engaging in fasting just like us. We will be looking forward to multiple things during iftar. They may find it difficult to find a date, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, Ya Ilah al-Alameen. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, make it easy for them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, allow us to be those who feel it in our hearts, Ya Allah, that we go out of our way, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, that we go out of our way, Ya Allah, to make them comfortable as much as we can, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, Ya Ilah al-Alameen. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min zawali ni'matik. Ya Allah, Your Rasul will make this dua. That, Ya Allah, we seek protection in you from your ni'am and your blessings being taken away. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, these are all ni'mas and blessings from you, Ya Allah. The safety that we enjoy, the food that we eat, Ya Allah, the drink that we have. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, it is not our actions, Ya Allah, which make us deserving of any of this. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, it is only your rahmah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, it is only your rahmah, Ya Allah. We ask, Ya Allah, that you do not test us, Ya Allah, in a difficult way, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we are too weak to be tested through sabr, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, allow us to come close to you through the means of shukr and your gratitude, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, Ya Ilah al-Alameen, allow this ummah, Ya Allah, to unite under Islam, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, make sunnah our guiding light, Ya Allah. Make the Quran our guiding light, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, your Rasul has said that on such nights you forgive everyone except the one who ascribes partners with you and the one who is mushahin, those that hold animosity, Ya Allah, those that hold grudges against others, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, we make this declaration, Ya Allah, that if there's anyone, Ya Allah, anyone who we have had any encounters with, Ya Allah, that we have any animosity towards them, Ya Allah, we forgive them for your sake, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, because we need your forgiveness, Ya Allah, we will go ahead and forgive those that have done us wrong. And we will not hold any grudge, any hatred, any animosity towards any believer, Ya Allah. Because we do not want to fall under those that are mushahin and they will not be forgiven on this night, Ya Allah. Ya Ilah al-Alameen, allow us all to have clean hearts towards one another. Ya Allah, allow this ummah to be an ummah, Ya Allah. Give us an understanding that we should be as one ummah, Ya Allah. That we feel for one another the same, and we would go to those lengths for others that we would for our own families, Ya Allah. The way we would act for ourselves and our families, Ya Allah. Unfortunately, Ya Allah, we have let others down, Ya Allah. We have let our brothers and sisters down, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, give our ummah, give us as an ummah, Ya Allah, an understanding that we should act in the same way, Ya Allah. There should be no difference between someone who is a believer in another part of the world and those, Ya Allah, that live around us, Ya Allah. يا إله العالمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين.
Jazakallah khair, Mufti Sahab. We have made arrangements for some snacks. They are towards this side, the main entrance. There were brothers who are like arranging them. Please help yourself. Just like samosas, jalebi, and also the brothers are making tea downstairs. So please help yourself before going out.